Welcome back to the Melbourne Strength Culture Podcast. This is episode number 8, and we've got a big one today, boys. We have I'm going to try and sit cross-legged here, if my nuts allow.
Yeah, you look refined.
We've got a big one, boys. We've got a big one. How's that look, Donny?
Nuts.
Yeah, it's all right. Crazy. Get my Nike 94s out or whatever they are.
90s, man.
90s.
Come on.
I know. I'm not full Steeze yet.
Come on.
And they're a bit dirty from the weekend. I got to stop taking them near mud.
You've bitten Donny's Steeze. Donny's rocking the 90s at the moment as well.
Donny's King Clout. I'm coming for him.
Donny from the block.
King Clout.
I'm going to have a gold chain next week.
Gold chain, nice watches.
Yeah, plated. I want grills.
Really?
Yeah, that's like, or just at least one gold tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one.
My old
Just
man's
one.
got
Yeah,
half
yeah.
a gold tooth.
Yeah, I want one full.
Full gold.
Yeah, full, and just like start
A canine.
smiling
One
real
of the...
like real sleazy every time I smile. Like,
Just cheese it up.
My papa's got plenty of fucking grills.
yeah.
Plenty.
That's the look I'm going for.
The old chocks just like they have like plates and there's like teeth that just fit in.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they've got holes in their
Yeah,
mouth.
because their teeth
Grills.
are all fucked. They're ahead of their time.
Grills.
Ahead of their time.
They're called choc grills
Yeah.
before they were real grills. But no, my old man dived in the shallow end of the pool and fucking snapped one of his front teeth. And the guy was like, do you want a white filling or a gold filling? He was like 15. He's like, gold? He's had a gold filling the whole time. Half his tooth is gold.
That's gangster.
Yeah, he was clout chasing before I was clout chasing.
Yeah.
So
That's the Caribbean coming out of me.
that is
The Trinidad coming
Wait,
out.
little known fact. Where's your dad from?
Trinidad and Tobago, born and
There
raised.
you go.
Caribbean.
Came over on a boat, fresh off the boat, at 11 years old. 1967. 1969 was when the moon landing was, and also the introduction of colour TV.
And also Woodstock, for those who aren't aware. Big year, 1969.
Jimi Hendrix.
God.
I don't know. I don't know.
Fun facts with Jamie Smith.
I literally, in my head, I was like, oh, it's in the 60s. Oh, is it 67, 68, 69? I was calculating it. And then because I had 69 in my head, I just know that they're the two best facts of 1969. Moon landing.
For anyone listening to that, forget your thought process. For anyone that's just listening to that, go to YouTube, watch Jamie's face when he said that, and then go back to Spotify because we need to pump up audio listeners.
Yeah, let's get around. Actually, no, before we do that, we have some sad news to the community of Melbourne strength culture. Unfortunately, Simon Rajkowski, one of the absolute OGs. When did he sign up, Charles?
Early. Like first couple of weeks of the gym.
We've actually got a really funny story that we need to discuss about it because I think it shows where we just sort of started, and I like to look back sometimes. But yeah, Simon Rajkowski unfortunately has put his resignation in as an OG member.
What's he doing?
He's working up north now. It's an hour and a half to get here when there's a gym right next to where he finishes work, like literally next door. The commute is no longer viable.
He'll be back.
He will be back, and he was very appreciative. He was very thankful that we sort of gave him the opportunity to start to develop the hobby in something that he really enjoys and really loves now. But when we first started the gym, Charlie and I, we obviously had about 11 clients when we first kicked things off. This was in 2016. So we're like, we need to get new people in. So we gave these like 10, I'll call them a grandfathered offer. We gave these 10 people, like the first 10 people to sign up, were the rate that they got was going to be the rate for life. And we weren't expecting Simon Rajkowski to put his hand up and say, I'd like to take one of those offers. It was like $30 a week or something. It was like the full thing. Whatever the full service is, you get it at $30 a week. We had no idea. We were like 23. Like, that sounds like a great idea. 3 years go past. I'm losing money on Simon's membership. And I'm like, Simon, man, I have to revoke this. I'm so sorry. I weren't expecting you to stay here for 3 years. And then, yeah, obviously he was fine with it. He's like, yeah, that's fine, man. I work. It's all good. And then, obviously, yeah, now. So 5.5 years with Simon. Thank you very much. Thank you for the support. And we wish you all the best with your future lifting endeavors.
Chippy
Everything.
life.
And we
Thank
know
you,
that
Simon.
we know that he's going to consume every piece of content that we create. So
Chipping
Simon,
away.
Simon's never competed in powerlifting, but he describes himself as a strength enthusiast. He loves it. Loves strength sports, loves powerlifting, bodybuilding.
He was
He's all about
always
it.
at the comps. He used to come. I actually drove him a couple of times. He'd come to my house.
he did too.
Parkdale. We'd drive to the comps together. He'd be there all day.
Yeah,
Just
just
watch
loves it.
Man, he'd come to me at gym floor, he showed me a few tricks out there. With some of the handles, some tricks and
100%.
tips, hypertrophy, exercise. Man, he was onto it.
Yeah, he knows.
Onto it, proper S&C shit.
He likes
hypertrophy,
powerlifting and
everything.
fight sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was into everything. Like he'll drop names of like proper coaches.
No, he
I'm
knows.
like,
He
oh,
knows. He knows.
Well read.
Yeah, well read. Since his foray into carpentry every day, I'm like, oh, how you been, man? Just chipping away. That was the go-to.
With also a little smirk, like little chipping away.
Every day. And I'm like, knowing how much you love this gag makes me love this gag so much. Like, for anyone else who's doing this, it would get old, but I love it.
Weapon. So shouts out, Big Sim Dog. We love you, mate, and good luck with your
Raj Daddy.
with your next little life of training, man. Thank you for the support. So that was some somber news. It wasn't really somber news, but it's just we love him. But on to the next, which is thank you for the support of the first 7 episodes of the podcast, because we manifested the fuck out of
Big time.
top 50 in Australia. We've
Almost
landed
too hard.
episode 32 today,
We overdid
boys. We started top 40. We then came in to number 36 yesterday. We're now into number 32. And I have a feeling the next fortnight, with the news that is popping up in Australian powerlifting,
They're seated.
so
It's
that,
popping.
Watch this space.
that we are probably going to be moving a little bit more, because there's some attention on what is happening at the moment. So thank you for the support there.
Thank you.
Who's our next guest? Who are we going for? We don't have any guests currently lined up.
King Kyrgios.
Yeah, so we've manifested. Obviously, the first manifestation was the top 50. I think the next one should be top 10.
Top 10, 100%.
Big time, yeah.
Hungy.
Let me have a look at who's in
And then
there.
the next one, I reckon, is just we're manifesting Kyrgios. Is obviously doing some things in the news at the moment. Aussie Open, bit of
They're
bit of
playing
goings
today.
on.
They're playing today. Him
But
and Kokonakis playing today.
I'm loving it. And do you know what I'm loving more than anything? How everyone has backflipped on Kyrgios.
He's matured.
I don't know if he's mature.
He has.
I reckon.
He has.
I don't.
He's matured from what he was. He was an idiot. He was a bit of a little. He's still got that like a bit
Bro,
of
he's
a
still
brat,
got that
but
primary
he's,
school kid where he cracks his shit.
yeah,
like,
but
it's mad.
He's
like,
more
I love it.
mature than what he was like when he first came on the scene.
The last time I paid attention to tennis was definitely a few years ago, and that's the opinion I seem to have on him, and seems to be pretty
He's matured.
widespread. No, like what you were saying. Like
Oh, yeah.
bit of a
Brat.
bit of a
But
tosser
now
sometimes,
he's a
yeah.
bit.
Don't call him a tosser, man. We're going to get him
We're trying to get him on the podcast.
He's a fucking
Hey, Donnie,
he's a
say
king,
As a
man.
weapon.
Hey, Donnie, beep
Man,
that out, man.
Nah.
He's a king.
The latest the press conference when they asked him about the Croatian guys or the coach that started him.
Yeah,
after
what
the
happened with
match.
this? He got in a fight or something?
So Kokonakis and Kyrgios are not doubles players.
Yeah.
So they went in and played against double players, number 1 seed
Beat him.
in Australia, not on like the more expensive seat. So this is another thing. They want to play on ground pass seats so they can
Get a better crowd.
get a better crowd.
they would have
The
a
people-
crowd.
Yeah, they'd have a crowd. And it's like the people that are paying for more expensive tickets are generally more reserved, and they're for the sport of tennis, you know, and the way that tennis is.
Whereas you get
which is a bit more.
the hooligans like us want to pay $40 and go.
Let's call it what it is.
Exactly.
The boomers. The boomers don't want to see a couple young lads having fun. They don't want to see a couple young
Yeah.
lads having fun.
So they're out there doing their thing. Not only do they not give a shit about doubles tennis, so they're just two of the boys that are close as mates.
Yeah.
They go down and they're having more fun than ever, riling the crowd up, doing dumb shit like celebrating, like running around the court, like losing it. Then they win the match against number 1 seeds as unseeded players. Afterwards, and this is from the press conference, the Croatian coach walks in. So Kyrgios and Kokonakis go into the gym. They're like, oh, we'll be professional, you know, we won a game, we're trying to be professional, get some work in. The Croatian coach rocks up with a foam roller, gets the foam roller, hits like a pillar and cracks it and says they're disrespectful and whatever else.
Fucking
And
hell.
the press conference, they were asked about this, and Kyrgios, like a true chalk, is like, what do you think? He's like, enjoy your flight home.
Yeah, we need him. We definitely need him. The other one that we're Elliot Loney, if you know, I've had a few conversations with him in the DMs.
Sick cunt.
The 9 A's.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Prestigious
Mr.
9As.
Parker. Mr. Parker on
You
the
play footy,
9As.
That was on Snapchat.
Snapchat. I used
Back
to,
in the day.
I remember, Elliot, if you're listening, when you were not as big time, you probably responded to more people. I messaged you on Snapchat saying congrats to some deal you'd had. You responded to me saying thanks, brother, for support. Sick cunt from a long time back.
There we
He
go.
also does all the. They've had him at the Australian Open before. He does all the tennis.
Yeah, well,
Like
he's
the
there
Rafa.
all of them.
Loves an
It's Patrick
impersonation. Yeah.
Kokonakis, Kyrgios.
He does like the
All
Rafa
the boys.
impersonation really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've chatted before on the DM, so I'm hoping that that's enough on multiple times. I'm hoping that's enough to at least open the door for a conversation, because I think if we can get Elliot Loney and have a good time with him, because I know we will. He's a weapon. He's a funny dude. I think that may get us the
Kyrgios, or if any know Kyrgios, tell them to give us a buzz.
help us out. We'd love to have a chat with him, and I think I would hope that he'd be happy to help a smaller community out.
Apparently, if you go down to
What is it? It's like it's not a strong arm, but it's like help. Come on, man! Like, look out for the little guy. Yeah. Like,
Don't forget where you came from. All right.
the best strategy ever. Come on, man.
Make him feel bad. Yeah. If you don't want to come on, Kyrgios, it's fine. But we are manifesting you. And one of my favorite quotes from who's the guy? Wow, the Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson. And who's the guy? I'm going somewhere.
Where'd you get Owen Wilson from?
Hang on, I'm going somewhere.
We want Ben Stiller.
No, I'm going somewhere. Who's he always with? Owen Wilson and
Vince
the tall
Vaughn.
guy, Vince Vaughn, in the internship. And at the end of the movie, Vince Vaughn's going to the guy that was giving him shit the whole time. He was like running the internship. He's like, it doesn't matter if you like me, you can't stop me liking you. And he's like, let's go get a beer. And the guy's like, oh shit, all right. It's one of my favorite quotes. You can't stop me liking you. Just be nice. Kyrgios, we'd love to have you. If you're open to it.
Yeah, but if you don't want to come, you don't have to come.
But you don't have to come.
But support the little guy.
But yeah.
Don't forget about us.
Yeah. So that's probably the first thing. The second thing is we went absolutely viral on TikTok, boys. Absolutely viral. There was a gym review by Anabolic Gabe, and I reviewed the review, and our review got more than Anabolic's Gabe.
Why did we only get 8.5? What was 1.5?
What was that?
What was the drop in 1.5?
No sauna.
Points? That was 1.5
Yeah,
points.
I think there maybe had been an underground one or undercover one where Harry diarrheaed all over the floor, but it took away.
That's not because that was
That happens. You know.
We just cut that bit out. That's fine.
Cut it last 30 seconds.
And I'll leave this bit in of us talking about what we just cut out, so no one knows
what we cut out.
You'll never know what Charlie said.
Oh my God.
Boys, we also got one bit of feedback from the episode 7. Too many times, 3 of us jumped in the mics at the same time. Just be wary of it. That's one other thing. Thank you for the feedback. But yeah, thank you for the support of the new direction of the content. We are loving making it. We've got the first Hectic Eats coming up on Thursday. We're going to Saul's.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Yeah, what are you feeling?
Nervous.
Why?
Because this is like this gym's like home. Yeah. So when there's a camera at home, it feels all right.
What time are we going?
Let me finish what I'm saying. Bro, are you serious?
Come on, Charles.
For fuck's sake, man. Oh my God. I don't want to say.
You're nervous. Why are you
like
nervous?
home.
You're nervous.
That's right. Sorry. I'm nervous because it's like the only time that we've had the camera outside of the gym has been on Avalon Airport and not around anyone.
The gymnasium.
This is like I actually go to this
Gymnastics.
place for coffee like regularly. And I walk in one day, like, what's going on, guys? Here we are today with Hectic Eats.
Welcome back to the channel.
I don't think I can go back there. They're gonna be like, that's the vlogger. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
No,
it's
it's
real
not.
Max- it's real Max
Hang
Cheese
on,
spec.
hang on. You're going in with the wrong attitude. You're not a vlogger. You're a food critic.
Exactly.
You're a food critique.
That's,
Matt
but
Preston.
even my critic, like this is, I'm not a critic. Everything's mad to me.
Matt Preston over here.
Matt Preston, like, Ella boys, this is mad. And that's going to be every Hectic Eats. So expect 30-second eps. But it's saying that, it'll be mad. I'm just nervous because it's the first outside of the gym thing.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure it'll be mad. And once we're there, it'll be fine.
I had a question whether or not it would be like we're taking the podcast there. That's not what's going on. The podcast is the podcast. We are just moving. We're just going to create a little like a series
Like
on
offshoot.
YouTube with some of the areas, some of the nice, because there are some great spots around here that we all like to frequent often, with some fantastic owners as well. We'd like to just get involved and have a little bit of fun with our content. As you guys know, that's all we're really doing this year, just having fun.
We got to hit the other side of town too.
We'll start in the
Start the
locals.
areas.
We'll start in the locals.
We got to expand.
First it's going to be like, I think the Hectic Eats will be like, if you come down here for a casual, here's a Hectic post-workout meal.
Yeah.
I reckon
like that.
that'll be the.
'Cause it's often
pretty
a
much
question
it.
when people are from like far away. Where should I go to eat after? Like,
Yeah,
naturally.
Yeah. Don't expect it to be nutritious.
We should do that
No
really
way.
small family-run Italian restaurant, Domino's, as well. We should probably hit that up at some point. It's great little pizza.
Sucks.
And then
That took me a second.
Domino's. The first time he said that to me, Domino's, I'm like, oh, where's that? I had no
I was
idea.
thinking, I'm like, how do I not know this place? Fuck.
No idea.
I've got so many people with that. I used to say it all the time when I was going on dates. Oh, you want to go to the small Italian family-run restaurant? The final piece is we are officially sponsored, boys. We are officially sponsored with a second one in the pipeline. Hold your horses. We're moving, but we're officially sponsored, but the sponsorship doesn't start until Feb. So we can't talk about it just yet. It is Manscaped, but we're not going to talk about the...
It's Nike. Nike have sponsored us.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the specifics of it just yet because our contract starts in Feb. But yeah, thank you very much to Manscaped for supporting the little guys. We appreciate it, giving us our first crack at a proper partnership or sponsorship. So we do appreciate that. And that's only possible because of how well this has been received by you guys being the community who do watch, follow, like, share, subscribe, 5-star rate us on Spotify. It means the world to us. What we're experiencing and feeling right now. So thank you very much for that.
Long-term manifestation, I reckon we should chase down Kappa as a sponsorship.
Is that the two girls sitting back to back?
Yeah, I want those tearaway tracksuit.
Yeah.
They're
Guys.
like the buttons. You
Girls.
button them down and then there's the two chicks back to back. Two cheeks.
Is it two cheeks?
Two cheeks. They're back to back. They're kicking back. But it's like
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
no,
a
I know.
silhouette.
I just always thought it was... I never noticed it was two girls.
It's two cheeks.
Is there long hair?
I don't know.
It's
I'm
two
pretty sure
chicks,
there's two chicks. Anyway, they've got the mad tearaway chalk pants and I want them.
Speedos?
Yeah, just
All right.
tear away. Yeah,
Crazy. We can make that work.
Kappa.
The final little update is we're doing a touring podcast as well. Bouz, myself, and Donnie are going to Queensland in March. We're just finalising the guests. We're going to knock 5 podcasts out and a vlog and maybe something else with Kung Fu Henny. He wants to take us to a hectic eats up there. So,
Oh yeah.
and he can talk as well. He can talk smack in the camera. We know that for a fact. So, and then we're going to come back, reload for probably 2 months, and then Charlie, myself, and Donnie are going to go to Sydney and do the same thing up in Sydney. So, look out for some traveling podcasts. Three years ago, we were traveling doing seminars, Charles.
Yeah,
Not anymore. We travel and talk shit,
It's the year of content.
I'm done with seminars.
and
No,
we're going to
I'm not
get
done with seminars.
paid
We've
for
done-
them.
We've done some seminars.
Yeah, we're going to get
We're
paid
done.
for them.
Podcast, more fun. Way more fun.
Now on to, we've just got to clean up a little bit of what's going on with the APU and the competition. Firstly, I would just like to apologise to anybody that we inconvenienced with, obviously, affiliating, going through the process of setting up a competition, and then within not even a week of it going live, pulling affiliation and cancelling the competition. Throughout the process, the communication and some of the systems and structures that APU had with onboarding us as a gym, a new gym coming in, and then also onboarding our members, trying to become part of the competitions and getting memberships. Some of their processes, in fact, majority of their process, unfortunately, just I don't believe equipped enough to grow the community of powerlifting in Australia. I don't think that they have enough resources and a capacity to actually grow what in the direction that we believe this sport should be moving. And throughout that process, the final straw was the competition. We weren't notified that the competition was going live. I raised that concern with APU after the fact, obviously, and we couldn't tell anyone what was going on because we didn't know. And then APU would just sort of shut down my request for more information, and that was sort of the final straw where I thought these guys, I don't think, again, have the resources, and we sort of just lost the confidence that that is the right move. So we have pulled our affiliation, and we have cancelled the competition. We do apologise for anybody that has inconvenienced. We also understand that drug-tested powerlifting in Australia, especially Melbourne, it's been frustrating as fuck. Believe us, we are as frustrated as you guys are, the lifters and the community. Our business runs better when competitions are running. People are interested in powerlifting. There's events on and all of these sort of things. It makes training exciting. It makes the sport exciting. It makes the community exciting. We are trying our best to work on a future for drug-tested powerlifting. There are some very exciting things that are happening behind the scenes. We can't talk about them too openly just yet. All I can say is it is not too far away for when that community will be back together and able to run some pretty crazy comps with a lot better resources and structures behind us. So watch this space. More information to come.
Just quickly, it's probably worth noting, everyone who did do the comp has been contacted. So check your emails if you hadn't, in regards to getting refunds from APU and stuff like that.
Yep. And if you are struggling with anything, please come back to us and we will help as best we can, because we want to make sure that it's right. With the last thing we want to do is leave people in the community, because it is such a small community, with a sour taste for either what powerlifting can provide or what us Melbourne Strength Culture can be as an opportunity for training and competing in the future. So that's all we'll talk about there.
Would it be too much to say that in the future that powerlifting is going to be mad?
I think we can land on that.
We can land on that.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
That's all I'm going to say.
I'd even put a little fucking mad in there.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking mad.
Fucking mad,
Yeah, I
man.
reckon powerlifting's going to be fucking mad.
Fucking mad. I think the future is coming. That a little bit more a better attitude to growth, I think, is around the corner, and we're looking forward to it. Alrighty, we're gonna wrap this. We're 22 minutes in now. We're gonna do some more random hats because we love the random hats and the random hat discussions. We have 2 of them that we've hand selected because we know they'll be good talking points before we get into the true randoms.
These 2 came out of the unrandom hat.
Yeah, these.
The next 2 will come out.
Often seems to be the case. There's a random hat. Oh, but now we'll actually do this
unrandom.
one.
Do you want to know
Yeah.
why sometimes the random hat can't be the full discussion point? I think
Tell
my
us.
laptop just died, by the way, guys.
What do you want a
Because-
charger? I got a charger over there.
Ooh, I think I might have a virus. The random hat has some very random topics, and if we got 3 or 4 of them in a row, it would probably not work too well. So the non-random hat that we're going to start with is if you weren't a coach.
So we could just lie. We could just lie to our
we
loyal fans, but we don't
wouldn't
do that here.
We wouldn't do that to you.
We wouldn't do that. What we do have for the random hat is if you weren't a coach, what would you guys be doing?
Yeah.
That's from Jeremy Borzillo, by the way, I'm pretty sure.
I'll start this. I reckon I would have transitioned from failed kickboxer into bouncer.
Classic transition.
Yeah, I got offered a few jobs back in my day, and if you ever been to Tramp Jungle,
that would have been your spot.
or
would it?
Centerfold, King Street, I would have been the king of King Street, but not really, just a bouncer. So yeah, that's it. That was the first job offer I got. And that was the first one that I rejected. And yeah, that would probably be me, and probably be a dark path from there.
What
Johnny Ibrahim.
What year was that? Did you get offered
I got offered first when I was 18, and then the second one was
wow.
at 23.
You would have been an 18-year-old bouncer.
Yeah, so I
young.
remember the interaction. It was amazing. So there was a guy that I used to spar with that used to pretty much like run King Street like as a bouncer, missing a lot of teeth, but like juice to the gills, massive. And it would like warm us up, but man, like when I tell you, like it wasn't like boxing level, but if you saw this guy in a street fight, you were not going anywhere. And he would just like look at you, chase you down, and you'd be cracking him in the face, and he'd be laughing at you, like just like just laughing in your face. I'm like, okay. Anyway, I used to kickbox, so we kickboxed, and then from there, it was. I remember the interaction. The guy that like headed the security company, and he was like an interesting man. And we'll just leave it at that. He was an interesting man. Anyway, he comes up and he's like, "You move real nice. You want some work?" I'm like, "Oh, what kind of work?" It's like, "It pays well." He's like, "Cash too." I'm like, "Oh," and I'm like, "I'll get back to you on that one." I reckon, yeah. So that was it. It was pretty sus. And the guy was literally 5'3", and I swear to God, he almost killed me once. It was the scariest thing. He's like, I'll show you a trick that we used to deal with people that used to fuck around. And it literally, I shit you not, in a split second, he went from standing in front of me to his foot on my throat. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna never fuck with you again. I never fucked with him in the first place. But yeah, it was interesting. So yeah, that's where I would probably have been.
Yeah.
If there was no backup plan.
They're
Slipping and weaving on King Street.
the Spaniard.
Imagine.
Oh, yeah.
You were saved. That was in
Oh,
a dark
no.
road.
I was saved. Strength and conditioning saved me. But now I've got no backup plan, really.
We don't need one.
Yeah. Don't need one, brother.
I mean, bouncing is always there. Like,
all in. Yeah, maybe a bit of work on the side.
a bit of cash in
A
there.
bit of cash in hand.
What about you, Didier? What would you be doing?
So, at the end of 2018, I...
You used to study politics.
Well, yeah, at the end of 2018, I was offered 3 hours of work from Jamie Smith. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do the last year of my arts degree majoring in politics. That was enough for me. I was working as a personal trainer at a more group training based gym. I'd done the internship. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll... So I was moving in direction of maybe doing a master's degree, some type of public service type job. And I remember Jamie B was once like, why don't you just become a strength coach? I was like, why not? Because I was always like, oh, yeah, I'll balance it. I'll do a bit of PT on the side, blah, blah, blah. But then when that came up, I'm like, that's it. I'm not going back.
That was it.
And here we are.
So if you followed the politics route, where do you think you would have ended up?
Like, the first question's like, oh, parties, I'll vote for you. No, that wasn't really a desire. I wanted to be somewhere in the public service, probably working some department or stuff like that.
Behind a desk.
Maybe like an NGO or something like that.
What's that?
But non-government organisations, like a charity or something like that. But yeah, never eventuated. So here we are.
Be an old desk
Well,
jockey.
that's the direction I was going. Now thinking, I don't know what else I'd do besides this, honestly.
Yeah.
I struggle to consider it. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, you know, one day I'll go and do this. I don't have that currently. I don't have another option.
Neither. I think something cool to add, and it was something that helped me out a lot. Like you guys obviously pushed it as well to me. I was working at multiple places whilst working here, and I think if you're scared going all in,
Just don't go all in.
oh, just man, you got to go all in.
Oh, yeah, no, you mean-
you got to
okay,
go
that's what
all
you
in
mean,
because your life will fucking change. Like I swear to God, the second I transitioned from like, oh, you got to balance this and I got to balance that because my money's good at the moment, but like if I start doing this and whatever else. Like with work, I can't take it. I'll wait until I just balance it up, and then once I balance it up, I'll quit the other one.
Yeah.
The second that I'd
Actually,
fuck
remember that.
off,
I remember that phone call we had.
yeah, there was a couple moments in that year, and it was just like, nah, go all in. And I swear to God, when you can fucking devote your resources, your mental resources into one.
But I think it's also
Avenue.
a way of telling yourself that I'm doing this. I'm committing to this now. Because even though, you know, I've got a shift, a few months later, got another shift. It wasn't heaps to start with, but because I just made that decision of, no, I'm not going back to uni, you're just telling yourself and you're kind of putting it out there, yeah, I'm taking a step in this direction. This is what I'm going to do. Like, you're not essentially not giving yourself another option.
Yeah, there's no like backup.
Oh, but if it doesn't work out, I'll do
backup
this.
plan.
There
You're always
wasn't-
going to be okay. But
Yeah, like...
yeah, for sure. Hectic. Little side note.
Where are you,
Mad
Charles?
dog.
Oh, I didn't see it. We'll give you another one for that. Bang.
Yeah, all right.
So I was, my other option was I was going to do my master's in teaching and do PE teaching because I just thought, you know, looked at the PE teaching.
You wanted to be a...
That's Salesian, kick back, polo, shorts, runners, kick the footy, ride their bikes to work. I'm like, I could live that life.
Who was it? Mr. Egan, elder Salesian.
Nah, not Egan. Like more like a Cox. But also, I had two very close friends.
Mr. Cox was
Mr. Cox.
the man who taught us how to bench press. We used to
Yeah.
roll down to, where were we?
Crazy.
We were at Oakley
Rec
Centre. And he used to tell us to do like you work up to a top set and then you just like take a small plate off and then just max
Keep
it
going.
out. Take another small, max it like
Mr.
real
Cox was a weapon.
old
So
school.
when I used to do ACC swimming, we used to go to at Monash Clayton, would be in the pool at 7 a.m. He'd drive the bus there and he'd get in the water in the other lane and just be swimming laps the whole time
and push-ups.
and doing push-ups on the side. So he was just a weapon. I was like, yeah, I could live that life.
Yeah.
So that was all. And I also had two very close friends, Steve Christopher Karkas and Steve Trelop, who now lives in Paris. They were both PE teachers too. And I was like, yeah, they seem like they enjoy it. So I was just like, it was just with what I'd studied. I was like, I'll do my master's in teaching and do that. Anyway, this happened. And then, yeah, now we're here. The other one I always wanted to do, it was when I worked at the pantry, we used to host the Christmas party for the Criminal Investigations Unit in Brighton.
What?
Criminal Investigations Unit,
Yeah.
CIU. Yeah.
The weirdest.
They're not the non-uniform police officers.
Yeah.
They're detectives. So they wear suits and shit. And they just like, they'll tell me, like, hey, we've got a drug bust tomorrow. Yeah, like, just,
that'd be
and
cool.
just like the way that's, I was like, oh, this is mad.
Charlie's going to be kicking doors down, busting drugs.
Probably knocking on Bouz's door at some point.
Not gonna,
No comment.
Where's
But,
the cash?
Where's the cash?
It would have met in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
That'd be happening
Yeah.
somewhere. Somewhere, Charlie's on your tail. And,
Yeah.
and
Kicking out the door.
knowing Charlie's admin skills, I reckon he won't find you. I don't reckon he'd get you.
He'll miss an email
You
somewhere.
you don't need admin. You just instinct.
Yeah.
Instinct.
You just smell him.
Charlie.
Smell me.
Sniff
Smell
out,
him out.
sniff out the bandit.
Is that Paca Rabanne 1 million? That's him. He's done.
He's done. Lock him up. Throw away the keys.
Nah, my admin skills are alright.
The podcast. What time?
Huh? When? Oh, the fuck. Yeah, what time? You didn't answer my
We
question.
spoke about it in the group yesterday.
Don't. All right.
Sort of.
That group was
Moving
gone
on,
at
moving on,
midnight.
moving on.
I'm not.
Moving on.
I'm off
Yeah.
my phone at night.
Moving on. I
just-
don't have a backup plan, and I don't actually know. I've thought about this in detail. I don't know what I would be doing. I'd
'Cause you-
still be working for myself in some capacity.
Because you were like really early, like 19 or something.
Yeah.
PT.
I've never thought about it, and I've never found an answer to that question. I don't have a backup plan.
I think that's a good thing. You know,
But
we're
I
all
would,
in.
if you asked me 3 years ago, I would have said I'll be coaching for the rest of my life, and very quickly the passion for that went down the drain, and I hated it, and I also hated the fact that I was stuck in it, and I managed to find a strategy that I'm still building in the direction that we want to go, but I'm no longer really having coaching as the priority. So I don't know what I'll be doing, but I enjoy what I do. I love it, and I think the four of us will continue to love it. I think and Donnie now. Donnie's on. Can't forget old Don.
quick circle back, talking about
The
teachers.
Louis Vuitton Don.
Louis Vuitton.
LVD. Just a quick circle back. Shout out to teachers helping with the bench press. Mr. Hemsley, Big Choco, him and Theo Papanastasiou. You're probably not watching this. They'd bench together. Theo was a fucking unit. He was like benching 100 when he was like 17. Animal, like for reps. Theo, Mr. Hemsley, Mr. Boyce, Mr. Morris, now principal of Doncaster Secondary College.
We love that.
Thanks for sorting us out on the way through.
I got two. One, I'm not going to say his name because he might listen to this podcast. And I asked him once. I remember it was fucking hell. It pissed me off so bad. We're in class, and I was like, little young Choco into the gym, couple of years. How much you bench, sir? And you know how he responded? He goes, "How much you bench, sir?" Like, but in a proper ethnic voice as a response. I'm like, all right, whatever, fam.
What a dog.
You do you. It's because I bench more than him.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 15.
100%.
Come at me. And then the other one that actually took me under his massive wing, he was a NABA,
Oh,
NABA
really?
pro.
Crazy.
Yeah, and this guy's calves were minging, same beads. And he's like, you can see he was wearing baggy polos.
But
just
filling them out
monster.
still.
But filling them out.
That's
and
the best look.
Man, his calves, these things were just ridiculous, like monstrous. And then every lunchtime at St. Bede's, you'd take us through. And I'm like, how do I get shredded, sir? And it's fasted cardio. That was the go-to.
Thinking back,
from
like
him.
these teachers are doing like 6 classes a day, and they're like, you know, what I'm gonna do on my lunch break. I'm gonna open up the gym and supervise these kids. Like,
Yeah,
thinking,
no, he
you,
was a
you
weapon.
didn't realize how good it was. Like,
100%.
shout out those teachers, 100%.
I think I think everybody could probably who looks back at school in some fond memories. There's probably a couple of teachers that have had more of an impact. I definitely know the ones that have had it on me, but had a significant impact on your development as a person. And it's actually really cool. Teachers do not get paid enough.
100%.
It's something that I actually completely, there should be more money in teaching because I think you have a massive impact on the development of the future.
Big time.
Yeah. There were a couple of teachers I had that could have been paid less.
Far less.
And,
Should have been out of a job.
and the money that they got paid less could have gone to some of the other teachers.
Yeah.
I reckon that's
It's a merit system.
merit system.
We're moving on. Next random hat, which wasn't random. The randoms will start after this. Favorite movies of all time. What do we got? I'm just going to go out with a new one on the list. King Richard. If you haven't seen it, the story.
You reckon favorite of all time?
No. Hey,
I feel like you just watched there. You like it was mad.
hey.
You got to think deeper into this.
Hey, what I was saying, King Richard is a fantastic sports drama. It doesn't chip out.
They love Rotten Tomatoes.
Jared K knows exactly. We review sports dramas. Sports dramas is the best drama series, like the best drama category. King Richard doesn't chip Coach Carter, and it definitely doesn't catch Remember the Titans, but I would slip it in the top 3 personally. I loved it. I love the story, and highly recommend going and see it. King Richard.
Crazy.
With Django Unchained.
Django Unchained.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That was the scene where Jamie Foxx kicks in the door and starts shooting, and just Murdering Dogs. The song, it's a mashup of James Brown and a Tupac song, and that was my walkout track for my
Was
flight.
it actually?
Yeah. It's
Fuck
gangsta.
yeah.
I loved
That's
it.
mad.
I love it so much. That's what I was picturing. I was walking out. I think Jamie Foxx just fucking bang, bang, bang. Just Jamie Foxx, 2 guns. Anyway, that's me. Move
Hey,
on.
I like Shutter Island.
Oh, that's a headache, that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good
Yeah.
movie though.
very good movie.
You like a bit of psychological sort of,
I like movies that you have to go read about after and then watch again.
Thinking.
go
thinking.
back and catch all the little points you may have missed.
Deep.
Yeah, it's a good
Because
film.
What about
With that one, you still don't. At the end, it's up for interpretation.
Inception? What about Inception? That's similar sort of.
Inception is also up for interpretation at the end, and I do like that. They came out very similar time periods.
They're both Leo, aren't they?
Both Leonardo DiCaprio when he was slamming films.
didn't make
He
it through.
right now, I think the film industry, a little bit. How you going? Look, I'm really enjoying. I am.
Let's
Let's elaborate. Let's elaborate.
What does that mean?
I just think
Oh, Mr. Film Buff. Go on,
no.
tomatoes.
They're just not. There's nothing that's.
Spielberg and Metacritic.
They're just not. They're not. It's fucking. It's all Marvel at the moment, and I don't. I like Marvel. Don't get me wrong. I do like Marvel, but
Look, I'm
I just would love like some of those ones that we've just mentioned. You know, those Tarantino films.
I think the hype-
He came out with a movie last
Once
year.
Upon a Time in Hollywood. That was 2 years ago.
I think often
2019.
That's stuff.
He knows.
2020.
I think the hype around superhero films gets just blown out of the stratosphere when, in my opinion, yeah, they're fun, but they're definitely not the best film.
They're
But everyone's
fun.
like,
That's
oh
a
my
good-
God, have you seen the new Avengers? It's like, I didn't see it clearly, but like, I just never, superhero movies like are never the top tier. They're fun, but they're not like,
Sorry, fun
Top 1%.
police.
Except-
Martin Scorsese copped it for that same criticism, so you're up there with him.
Yeah, heavy.
Ella, good fella.
Except the Dark Knight trilogy. The Dark Knight with
But that's
Heath
different.
Ledger
That's
is
different.
like- but that's a bit more like that. Doesn't have your
More twisted.
typical like superhero like Marvel.
Yeah, Christian Bale, man.
because
the
they're
Christian
dark.
Bale's a weapon.
The acting's crazy. It's dark. Heath Ledger's performance.
Because it's not just like the
Unbelievable.
clean cut,
Oh.
Superman's here to save the day. It's a bit
Yeah.
more like,
Actually,
And
one of my
it's got
favorite
a good
movies the last
storyline.
20 years, Joker.
Yeah, it's very
one?
good
That-
film.
The new one.
The new one.
The new one,
The
yeah.
new one. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Man, I watched
Yeah.
that with Will Crozier in Boston, and I thought I was going to get shot in the movie theater. I thought that there would be some crazy
Yeah.
kid
Like
in
a-
America somewhere that was going to use that movie, and I was just like,
That
nah.
was a really good film.
Yeah.
I was like anxious the whole watching that, and it was like so like emotionally in your face. You just felt so bad for what.
I
was
saw
like,
it in
man.
the I saw it in the cinemas. The second time I watched it, I loved it even more. So I that's honestly up there for me, but I won't say it because you said it. So what I will offer is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. Love a good fantasy movie.
Lord of the Rings and the,
Charles just cracked
trailer.
one.
The
But,
trailer just came out for the Lord of the Rings, the Rings
I'm
of
so keen.
Power.
Can't get around
fantasy.
Amazon.
I love it. I'm a pig for fantasy.
September 2022.
But yeah, Jacqueline Phoenix,
that?
everything he does.
The Lord of the
amazing.
Rings, Rings of Power. The Amazon bringing out the
Jacqueline,
TV
sorry.
show set in the second age of Middle Earth.
Wow.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
as I was saying, Jacqueline, Joaquin, however you say it.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Every movie he does is amazing. He's a
Joaquin.
sick cunt.
Joaquin.
Or add Scarface as well, obviously. Big
Actually,
Choco classic.
When he plays the gladiator,
Yeah, he got like an Oscar or
Joaquin,
some
that was a
shit
good
for
performance. That was a good film.
Joaquin.
That was Joaquin. And River Phoenix, his brother died.
R.I.P.
Very out, yeah,
All right, we're moving on. Random hat, number 9. Have you guys ever been recognised out of town? This is why we don't do the random hat. Some of them have been done. Let's go again. 21. Ways to determine RPE. Here we go.
AMRAPs is that.
Done.
AMRAPs,
Easy.
yeah, but we can't just
Next.
AMRAP. We're in long format podcast. We can actually choose some things here. We can actually
All right.
explain some
All right.
stuff.
I'll go through my AMRAP protocol then.
Yep.
Not just do an AMRAP randomly all the time. Some ways, and this is, I think, a cool way to quote unquote deload. I don't think it's necessarily a deload, more of a reload, cock back, this, that. And you set up the 4th week as an AMRAP week. So rather than have someone 3 sets or deload just intensity, just 1 set across the board.
Oh, you were doing that with your coach, weren't you?
Yeah, I still do it now.
Yeah.
And I think it's great. It's enough for me to still be exposed to load because I feel like when I come back off of a full intensity deload, I come back in the following week, I just don't feel like I'm firing on all cylinders. I feel like it's still such a large reduction in volume, but I'm still acquainted with heavy weights so that in that next week, I'm not like, all right, it's going to take me a few weeks to get back into this. You know what I mean? So I feel like I still handle those weights in hand, but it's been such a reduction that I'm actually feeling fresh coming into that following week. So how I do it. I've started giving it to a lot more of my clients. Obviously selective based off of technical proficiency. Some people are not getting AMRAPs on RDLs. You know what I mean? I'm doing AMRAPs on RDLs because I've had them in my block for the last 7 months. But someone that's done them for 2 months and is getting stronger sub-maximally, I may as well just leave them to it, you know?
Yeah,
But
there's definitely better exercises to do AMRAPs with.
exactly. But, you know, if it's pec deck, a seated row, if it's a leg extension, leg curl, I'm AMRAPing the shit out of them. They're doing 1 set to a 10 with the top set of their previous week. So I'm like, whatever the heaviest weight was, you've got an RPE there that you rated that, whatever your perception of intensity was for that, use that top set, AMRAP the shit out of it in the following week, suss where you're at. And then that way you've had your reload, deload, whatever you want to call it, as well as you've determined the accuracy of your previous week's RPE ratings.
Yeah, I like it. I like
AMRAP
it a lot.
stat.
And I like that there's a bit of context in there for the decision as well from a coaching perspective. Because a lot of people they don't know how to fit certain protocols into their training. But understanding proximity to failure is incredibly important, and it really is probably the biggest rock when we discuss actually making progress in the gym. All the other things sort of go out the window if you're not training relatively hard. We can circle jerk on defining that term, but we can't be fucked. So you have to be training hard. Utilizing RPEs is a fantastic strategy. AMRAPs are definitely one strategy that we could use for determining RPEs. The other one is that we've done a couple videos with you on YouTube. There was a squatting one. They might even be both squatting.
They're both squatting. One was at the old.
Do you want to explain current performance? That whole
So the idea is just using. So obviously, you can take last week's data, previous week's data, and bring it in. So last week, let's say we're doing singles in a competition block. Did single last week at this weight, 120. Logical progression, add a little bit of weight, maybe 122.5, 125. However, last week you were a different person. This week you've walked in the gym, you're a completely brand new person, fresh canvas, ready to be painted on. You
paint me.
You're like Michelangelo.
Donatello. Basically, the best gauge of current performance is current performance. So using so whatever your planned single is, using the warm-up before that as a single to tell you your readiness to train. Is the best indicator of anything. So you got to treat that single as if it's your top set, firstly. So bring the same intensity, psychological readiness, all that, because some people, and Didier and I can... we've seen this multiple times where people just don't treat their warm-ups with the same intensity. They don't treat their first and seconds in comp with the same intensity. So treat it with the same as if it is your top set. That's going to give you the best indication of where you're at, whether you should go up from 120 to 122, 125. If potentially you're not there today and you should actually drop back and hit maybe a 117, 115 single, just throwing numbers off the top of my head. But yeah, best gauge of current performance is current performance.
Just adding on to that, because often our clients will be like, I went 120 for 5 this week. What should I hit next week? And yeah, we can give you some rough ideas based off how they went. But the real answer is do your warm-ups, work up on the day, and then we'll work it out. Because, yeah, as Charlie mentioned, like you're only going to really find out what the best load selection is on the day. And that's why prescribed loads generally are the best option.
They suck.
They suck. They don't. They actually don't.
Generally aren't the best option.
I just gave some prescribed loads this week, but for a good reason.
Nah, fuck nuance. We don't prescribe loads.
Ever. In zero circumstances.
I do. I prescribe them because...
Never.
I do. You never?
I'm joking.
I know you do. No, but for a very select instances where there is chronic overshooting, prescribed loads can be beneficial and should be used. But the common misconception with people is that training needs to progress each and every week.
Big misconception. Big one.
Task you perform in any avenue in life, you're going to progress every single session that you have an exposure. So this is something that probably needs to be nail in the coffin, bang, down, buried, done. You're not going to progress every single session for the rest of your life, because if you added 2.5 kilos every session forever, and you'd be deadlifting 2,000 kilos.
The problem is, in order to do that, you have to start your training blocks at weights that are just too easy. And if, given on the context, that makes sense. But it's like, oh yeah, I added 2.5 kilos to my lifts every week for 8 weeks. It means that the first 4 weeks probably weren't that difficult. So instead, you train with RPE. the weights will generally move up, but if they're not exactly up every week, that's fine. Hard training is what helps us make progress.
Yeah.
And looking at your training progress from a macro view, so stepping out from in the past 6 months, are the fives that I'm hitting better than the fives I was hitting 6 months ago? If they are, yes, you're progressing in the right direction. If they're not, then yeah, you probably have to look at.
And the more
making some
advanced
tweaks.
that you get, the better your understanding of your own macro training needs to become.
Yeah.
Because that lens that you can view and bird's eye view everything from becomes ultimately the best vantage for you to understand your progress from. Week to week very quickly becomes almost, I'm not going to say completely out the door, like it has no value, but it very quickly can start to muddy what is actually occurring from a week to week, especially when you start to throw in actual hard training, higher volume efforts and fatigue and accumulation of chronic fatigue and all those sort of things. And it can muddy what's going on. The last thing I'm going to add to the point of all of this is Charlie alluded to it with the current performance is the best gauge. And then Didier sort of skimmed it as well with like, what can we do for next week and how we aligning those sort of like that what are we determining is going to be the goal for next week. Going into your session with a plan is still incredibly important when you utilize RPEs. Don't just go in and be like, oh, I train RPEs and it's just going to be whatever the fuck happens on the day. It's like, no, like we understand that, yeah, you ebb and flow as a human and your stress levels and all these influences are going to impact your internal loading. But ultimately, we can assume that you're going to be somewhere in the ballpark, and actually having that target or that goal for the session is a huge benefit for you in that performance. Using a little bit of extrinsic value, hunting down a number can definitely improve the overall outcome of your training. So don't just go into the session with complete like a blindfold on and just be like, oh, we're going to see what happens.
Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's a numbers-based sport. You're not noble for not chasing numbers.
I did it on Friday.
Your ladder overshoot sometimes.
Yeah.
I did it on Friday where I came in with the idea of 290 to 295 for a triple for my deadlift because I did 285 really well the week before. I came in on Friday. It was hot. The longer it got to closer it got to my session, the just shitter I felt. Took 1.5 scoops pre-workout. Still like, Anyway, having that number, I actually ended up hitting it because it was already in my head. Again, I wasn't stupid. It was within the RP range that was acceptable. But if I didn't have that number and that goal set, I probably would have not hit 290 for 3. I would have come in, I feel like crap today, it's hard, whatever. But I was like, nah, you're hitting it.
290 for 3, is that a PR?
I think so. I've done 287.5 for 4 before.
No, doesn't. No,
What's
290 for 3.
Yeah, it's all PR.
282.5 for 4? Maybe
PB.
I haven't. I can't remember.
That's crazy, man. You're going to be repping fucking 300s.
And our hook grip's the heaviest. I did 275 last warm-up for a hook grip, which is the heaviest I've ever hook gripped.
Fuck yeah.
So
Nice. Training's back, Charles.
It's back. And
How's your bench?
I hit a PB, 160 for 3.
Oh, fucking 160
Big nuts over there.
The
Manscaped going to sort them big nuts out
I
soon.
would hardly say I'm big nuts. I haven't hit a bench PR for 2 years, so
Well, now you're big nuts. Now because you hit a PB.
Smooth big nuts.
So lockdown's really stuffed my bench up. But I think all that pressing work on the chest press machine and all that shit's really helped a lot.
Fucking oath.
JM press is the answer.
I hate
Absolutes.
I don't think so.
I actually hated
No,
JM press.
I'm just. I don't think it's.
He's
the
been
answer.
silly.
I
was
did
being
it with
smart ass,
Bryce,
but
and it was fun. It was cool to try, but it didn't feel like I got anything from it.
I'm not a fan.
JM press is not the
I'd
answer.
rather just do tricep work.
Revoke that very quickly.
Can you finish this podcast out direct to camera and just say JM press is not the answer?
JM press is not the answer.
All right, we're done. Thank you. Well, please record. Please give us 5 stars on Spotify as we climb into the top 10.
If you watch it on YouTube,
Also,
go to Spotify.
We are hunting down,
If
boys.
If you're watching Apple, go to Spotify.
The next hunt that we are chasing, we passed Steph Claire Smith. See you later, Steph Claire Smith. Next up is the guy that made Manshake. We're coming for you, Manshake man.
We're hot on your tails.
We're coming. We're coming to drink your shakes, boy.